στους 90,4 με τον Κώστα Λαζαρίδη στην κονσόλα του ήχου. Δημήτρης Αντωνόπουλος μέχρι τις 11. Είναι από τα καλύτερα άλμπουμ που άκουσα τα τελευταία 3-4 χρόνια. Θα είναι στην αγορά βέβαια στους επόμενους μήνες. Αλλά έχουμε ήδη ένα δείγμα γραφής από την Βρετανία, το debut άλμπουμ, τον Hollow Earth. Και έχουμε να πούμε πολλά, καθώς θα έχουμε σε λίγο στην άλλη άκρη της γραμμής το σχήμα από τη Βρετανία για μια συνέντευξη. Στην Αγγλία, καθώς έχουμε στην άλλη γραμμή τον Jake Fern από τους Hollow Moon. Hello, Jake.
Hello, you're really quiet, Dimitri.
Oh, sorry, my friend.
That's right, I can't hardly hear you.
Okay, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, yeah.
Okay, welcome to Channel
Good to
One.
speak to you after all these messages on the internet.
Yeah. First of all, Jake, I have to tell you that I'm excited with the Hollow Moon. Great sound. Maybe the best thing I have heard lately, you know. So tell me a few words about the band.
Well, me and Steve have been playing for quite a long time now, and it's all over the years we've just been writing music together, and I've been overseas traveling, so it's kind of interrupted it. But now we're getting something together, and it's nice. It feels good.
Mm-hmm. Lovers Don't Mind is a born classic, Jake. One of the best songs I've heard. Tell me about
nice.
it.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Tell me about it, and also about your debut EP.
Well, I don't know. Do you know you've got Ezra Pound on there? The voice that you can hear is Ezra Pound, and sort of he's an interesting fellow.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know much about him. He commissioned a guy called Eustace Mullins to investigate the Federal Reserve System. So not only is he a great poet, and on the track there you've got him talking about from a poem from one of his, it's called Usura.
Of course.
About usury.
He was a major figure.
Yeah. And he was sort of he was put in prison. I think he was put in a mental institute. And some people think he was sort of silenced, really, because of what he was saying about what was really happening with the banking system.
Yeah.
So it's a nice sort of summary of what we're about, because it's a kind of merging of poetry and politics with a small p. Fascinating character.
And what about your debut album, Closer Than the Blood?
Yeah, that should be out in about 12 weeks' time, in the summer. I think we were a bit optimistic with the spring release, so we just need to do a bit more mixing, and we should have 10 songs out there in the summer. We've got another single coming out in about a month's time, which is shaping up nicely.
The band's name is inspired by the theory of the Hollow Moon, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Tell me
not
about.
Not necessarily that I believe it. You know, there's a lot of theories there, and a lot of interesting stuff. The moon is a fascinating object.
Yeah.
And some people believe that it's an artificial satellite. So, you know, I don't know one way or the other, but I'm open to everything. And it seems to me that it's the perfect. In the same way that we watch wildlife, and we'll create a little hide there in the jungle to watch the lions. The moon seems like a perfect hide for possible extraterrestrials to be watching what's going down here on Earth.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Why not Hollow Earth, on the other hand?
On the Hollow Earth, yeah, I don't know about that. That's interesting as well. Apparently, there's an entrance Antarctica.
Fair, yeah.
And interestingly, really interestingly, actually, some of the really early UFO stories.
Yeah.
There's an airship that was seen in the States in about 1894, I think. And they said it crashed, and the guys rode out on their horses, and the sheriffs rode out, and they met these people who were sort of operating on this hot air balloon, or so they called it, because they didn't know how to explain it. And these guys said they were from the Antarctic. So who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, of course. Jake, tell me about your influence.
With the hollow moon.
Yeah.
Basically, when they fired a rocket, back when they were doing the Apollo missions, and they had seismographs on the moon.
Yeah.
And the readings showed that it sort of ran back about for days. It didn't, not like a solid object.
It's a great name for a band anyway. Jake, tell me about your influences in music, some things you really love,
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a band which is very popular in Greece is The Doors, and that was one of the sort of very early bands that kind of, I knew when you're a teenager and there's always everyone has one band that kind of, when you hear them, all the rest of your life you hear them, you sort of get taken back to that kind of moment, and it just sends sort of tingle down you. In fact, so much so that I can hardly listen to some of that music now because it's so sort of, sort of powerful.
Yeah.
And that was a big influence. And then again, sort of just after that, I remember seeing Nick Cave's The Weeping Song.
Great track.
And then that sort of set off. And funnily enough, he lives here in Brighton, so I've sort of bumped into him a couple of times. I sort of waylaid him. I drove up to him and thanked him for his great music. So yeah, I think that's a big thing. And then everyone else has got different influences. Ian, the guitarist, is a big fan of Peter Green.
Do you plan to do any live shows in the near future? Is there any thought for a tour in Europe, maybe?
Yeah, if it can be arranged. Yeah, I'd love to, yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's nice that you're talking about maybe coming over in the summer. I'd love to do the festival.
You should.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be nice to do like a little tour so it was more than just one or two gigs.
Of course.
Yeah.
Jake, music industry has changed a lot in the internet era.
Yeah.
How has this helped you as a band, really?
I don't know. I think it's a sort of blessing and a curse, isn't it, in a way, because you've got so much noise. You've got so many bands now who can put stuff out. It's very hard to get heard, but at the same time, if you can get a bit of a foothold, it's very easy then to access an audience because basically, you've got the whole world at you. I mean, like I'm talking to you now in Greece. You couldn't have done that, 20 years ago so easily. And you can, get someone from Japan downloading your single, and it's a nice feeling to sort of be communicating with someone on the other side of the world.
Okay, Jake, thank you very much for your time. I wish you to be the next big thing in the UK. You deserve it. Okay, thank you very much again.
Okay, cheers.
Bye-bye.
While the white face of the ground turned orange and pale like the bones in the shale. Lord, how you dance to the boat bells and the clapping sails.
Αυτά λοιπόν από τον Jake Fern, τον ηγέτη, την κυρίαρχη φιγούρα των Hollow Moon, ίσως το σημαντικότερο σχήμα που μας χάρισε η Βρετανία τα τελευταία 2-3 χρόνια. Είναι το ντεμπούτο του στην αγορά, το Extended Play, από το οποίο ήδη έχουμε παίξει κάτι και θα παίξουμε ακόμη κάτι, καθώς το είχαμε κάτω σαν χαλί, ακούγοντας τον Jake. Βέβαια, το όνομα της μπάντας έχει πολύ ενδιαφέρον, ότι ήρθε από τη θεωρία της κούφιας σφαίρας. Το φεγγάρι δεν είναι ένας πλανήτης, αλλά είναι μια σφαίρα που έχει κατασκευαστεί. Και ξέρετε ότι στη Βρετανία ιδιαίτερα αυτή η θεωρία μέσα στο κομμάτι του φανταστικού, της λογοτεχνίας του φανταστικού, έχει πάρα πολύ μεγάλη απήχηση. Και χαριτολογώντας το ρώτησα γιατί όχι η κούφια γη. Βέβαια, να πούμε ότι το ντεμπούτο τους άλμπουμ, όπως τον ακούσαμε χαρακτηριστικά μας λέει, θα είναι στην αγορά σε 3-4 μήνες. Μακάρι να τους δούμε και στην Αθήνα, γιατί όχι. Οι επιρροές της μπάντας τώρα από τους Velvet Underground, όπως ανέφερε ο Jake, μέχρι τον Nick Cave, έχει σίγουρα ενδιαφέρον η άποψή του για τη μουσική βιομηχανία στην εποχή του ίντερνετ και πώς το ένα τροφοδοτεί το άλλο, ενώ φαίνεται να αντιμάχεται το ένα το άλλο. Και είναι λογικό, γιατί η βιομηχανία έχει βρει τα βήματά της και μέσω του διαδικτύου. Σίγουρα χαρακτήρισε αυτή τη φάση πολύ χρήσιμη για καινούργια πράγματα που θέλουν να περάσουν στον κόσμο οι νέες μπάτες, και αυτό είναι σημαντικό. Μας μίλησε βέβαια και για τον Ezra Pound, που ακούγεται η φωνή του, η επαγγελία του, στο Extended Play των Hollow Moon. Πάμε να πάρουμε μια